Hey everybody, my name's John. Welcome to the first video of this channel. This video, because it's the first one, I thought it was a really good video to start with getting things started. A lot of people, myself included for a very long time, get caught up in various things that prevent you from starting what you want to do, whatever that thing is. Starting a new job, new hobby, whatever, new goals, new business, whatever it is. A lot of people kind of get stuck in various different phases. And so that's what this video today is about. This video is basically a dedication to the struggle of getting started and the roadblocks that each of us kind of see along the way. And those roadblocks, they could feel kind of unique to you or your situation, but generally speaking, for the most part, these roadblocks are pretty common for starting new things, because starting something new is scary. When you talk with people that you know, people will say, "Oh man, don't do that, it's not worth it. It's not going to work out. It's unrealistic. Keep your heads out of the cloud. Like, just keep your feet on the ground and be realistic," right? A lot of people will tell you this largely because of a couple reasons. One, they can't see it the way you see it, at least not yet. They probably will one day, but not this day. And the other reason is them telling you that it's not going to work out. Generally speaking, it's not really them saying that your thing's not going to work out. What they're actually telling you is that they don't think that it would work out for them. So because it doesn't work for them, then it can't work for you, basically. And I found a lot of times it's not really a malicious intent behind this. It's really just a conflicting belief system, right? It's not like people genuinely love you and care about you and want you to succeed and want the best for you. So in their minds, the best advice that they could give you would be the best advice that they have, which would be to keep your head down, work the safe job, do this, don't do that. That's the best advice that they have for you. Okay, it's not a malicious intent. It's not that they don't love you, that they want to see you belittled and put down. Really, I don't like looking at the worst case scenario. I like trying to give everybody the benefit. Even if there's doubt, I still give them the benefit, right? Because it's not my place to judge people. People are dynamic and wonderful if you just give them a chance, right? So yes, there might be some toxic people. Yes, there might be some negative influences. And yes, that would be a different video. But generally, if it's a really bad influence in your life, then you should step away from that influence and get into something like a more positive state. Generally speaking, that's kind of the advice, because you are who you associate with, right? You hang around different people long enough and enough times, and you pick up on their habits, their idiosyncrasies, their way of speaking, their word choices, everything, their attitudes, their habits, all of it. You pick up all of that based on the people that you associate the closest around you. So if those people aren't, if they don't have like a positivity, if they don't have an ambition, if they don't have a drive to propel themselves forward, then neither will you, at least in time. Okay, so you do have to be cognizant and aware of who you are surrounding yourself with. But today's video is not about that. That would be a later video for a different day. Today's video is about just simply getting started. And there's a really good quote by a guy named Steve Chandler. You may not have heard of him. He does something like a life coach school or like the Prosperous Coach or something like that. But his name's Steve Chandler, and he did a quote that I really love. I'm going to grab my phone here. The quote says, "Do it badly, do it slowly, do it fearfully, do it any way you have to, but do it, right? And that's kind of the spirit of today's video. Do it any way that you have to do it. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be perfect, right? Don't be like I did and let the idea of it having to be perfect invalidate your inaction for years, okay? I let that be my excuse. I didn't start because I was afraid that it was going to be too hard or too difficult. There would be too many obstacles in the way. I was afraid that if it didn't work out, I would fail it again, something else. And I didn't know if I could take failing again, right? So I used excuse after excuse after excuse. And I got off the highway of life with this, right? So today's video is all about just do it. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop getting stuck in analysis paralysis and looking at the plan and making every detailed step and never executing the actual plan, but just making the plan, right? Don't be that person. It doesn't matter. Throw the plan out the window and just do it without a script. Today's video has no script, okay? I had no plan other than today's video was going to be about starting and avoiding analysis paralysis. That's what the plan was for this video today. I'm not even going to edit this video, right? Because I want it to be an honest portrayal of somebody who got off the highway of life for years, used every excuse that he could possibly think of to say how it's not my fault, it's a situation, it's money, it's circumstance, it's timing, it's I don't have somebody believing in what I want to do, whatever it is, right? I used everything. I promise it's all garbage, okay? But today's video is about starting. Because if you wait until it's perfect, or at least until you think that it's perfect, you're never going to start. Because a absolute truth here is that no matter what you do, as you do it, as you progressively just keep doing it, you will also progressively find ways to improve it. So by that absolute fact, that unavoidable absolute fact, that means that it is quite literally impossible for it to be perfect. If there's ever going to be a way to improve it, that means it's not perfect. And the absolute fact is, if you start something and you stick with it and you just keep doing it over time, you will find a way to improve it along those steps. Even if it's small ways, as you go along, it will be improved. So it's not possible to start it off and be perfect. It's not humanly possible. It's an impossibility. It's an expectation that cannot be realized. So please do yourself a favor, give yourself a break, and just start. Like he says, do it badly if you have to, right? It doesn't matter. You can make it better later as you go. You can improve. Everyone always does. In every industry, in everything you do, you don't pick up a guitar and immediately play the best guitar solo that has ever been played, right? You improve over time. As you work on your craft, as you beat on it, as you practice it over and over again and you stick with it, you improve and you build skill. Skill is only improved by going every day after that craft of yours, whatever it is, right? That's the only way to improve it. So, do it badly. Start it off and do it bad. Today's video is probably not going to be that great. The audio may not be that good. The lighting may not be that great. The video might be bad. Who knows what it is, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Because I'm just going to upload this, put it online for you to see it as is, unedited, and let you see the genuine transition from where I'm starting to where I will be. Right? That way, it's an honest representation. And I think that's the best way to do this, because like I'm sure you did, and I know I did for a long time. I still do it. I mean, if I'm honest, I still struggle sometimes. I mean, let's be honest here. But I know I've been guilty in the past of, and present, of comparing my current situation, my current potential, my current whatever, to what I perceive as another person's success or highlight reel. So what I'm doing is self-sabotaging, because I'm comparing my shortcomings to someone else's successes. And that's never going to be a fair comparison, because one, when you're comparing your negative to another positive, your negative's always going to look worse. No matter what you do, it's always going to look bad. So that's number one. That's the danger of that part. And number two, whomever you're comparing to, because I compare to a lot of people, whomever you're comparing to, you're only seeing their success, their positive, whatever it is, but you aren't seeing the 100,000, million, whatever failures that got them to that one success that you're trying to compare to, right? And that's such an unfair comparison. If you're dead set to compare, if anything, I don't even know that you should compare, but if you should look up to and try to emulate, if anything, would be to look at that person's failure rate, whatever they failed at, and ignore the thing that they failed at, and pay special attention to the mindset that kept them going through that failure after failure after failure after failure, and emulate that. Because they face some hard times. I'm telling you, when you start, whatever it is, you're going to face some hard times. It's going to be, as Les Brown says, it's going to be there in your face, right? You're going to have people putting their finger in your face and telling you that you're a failure, that it's not going to work, that it's a waste of your time. Be realistic, whatever. It doesn't matter. That stuff is going to be there for you every step of the way. The real measure of success isn't whether or not you've succeeded the goal. The real measure of success is how you handle every step along that way that's come up and told you that you're not enough. Right? Because that's a dirty, dirty lie. You are enough. You're enough to have had the thought, to have wanted to do this thing, whatever reason it is. You're enough to get this far. Why aren't you enough to get even further? Right? Like that. I heard it said recently, just to illustrate the point. I heard it said recently, and I just loved it. Someone said, I believe it was on a social media platform, that if you were to take and give value to a newborn baby on like a scale of like 1 to 100, you'd easily say, oh, 100, easy. Like it's a baby. The baby has immeasurable value, right? But the truth is that so did you as a baby. You had immeasurable value, but that baby didn't do anything to earn that value. Didn't do anything, right? The baby didn't go out and have a $100,000 a year job. The baby didn't drive a brand new BMW or a brand new Audi. That baby didn't buy a giant house, right? It's a baby, but the baby still had intrinsic value, right? Somewhere along the way in life, and I've done it too, somewhere along the way in life, influences outside of ourselves have ingrained in us that somehow we are less, or that we aren't worth it. We aren't worth the time. We aren't worth this. We aren't that. And I've caught myself when I'm talking to like what I've perceived as a supervisor or something. I'm like, sorry for wasting your time, blah, 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 blah. I've caught myself saying that, and that's That's just not true. Okay? You had value long before anybody else came along and started having an opinion of you. Say it again. You had value before anyone else came along and had an opinion of you. Because your value was never based on a service that you could provide. Your value was never based on how you can provide for family, right? Your value was never based on how much money you make or the car you drive or the house you pay on or bought or the apartment you live in or the basement you rented from someone or whatever, right? That has nothing to do with your value. And one of the more unfortunate things in today's society, in at least the working portion of today's society, getting a job and career and things, is that everything has become transactional. Everything. If you do this, then I give you that. Again, along that way, along that path, somewhere we got a disconnect and we started to think of someone's value based on the job or position that they would hold. So in social situations, when you ask someone, oh, hey, what do you do for a living? And they tell you, oh, I'm a bus driver for the city. You think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and talk to some more important people in my little drink. I'm going to come over here and talk to them. You know, you're not important enough. Or, hey, I'm a sanitary worker. Well, you're a garbage man, so I'm not going to associate with a garbage man. Somewhere along the way, we built this disconnect that said that somehow a gloriously wonderful human being is somehow less because of the job that they do, right? Because in our heads, we think they're not a lawyer, they're not a doctor, so they're less, right? Or worse yet, even worse, we think of ourselves in this context. We think, oh, I work at McDonald's, I'm a piece of shit, right? Whatever, right? Whatever it is. I work at I work Walmart and I stock the grocery shelf, so I'm worthless, right? That's not true. And it's terrible that we've gotten there as a society. So, in the future, when you ask someone what they do for a living, celebrate it. I don't care what it is. Just say, oh man, that's awesome. What's that like? I always wondered. You know, take genuine interest in what they do and in them as a person. Because what they do is paying their bills. That has nothing to do with who they are as a person. Right? That person has value. You have value. And that value extends into the things that you start, which brings it right back to today's subject. You like that little segue? It brings it right back to the things that you start. If, when you're starting them because it's what you love. It's what you're driven and passionate about starting, whatever that thing is. It's the motivation that's important here. Are you starting the thing because you love it? Because that's what you want to do. Because it ignites that passion and that fire and that curiosity within you. Or are you starting it because you think it'll make you a paycheck? Right? Because that comes through. Whatever it is, whatever your motivation is, that it's what your expectation and how you see it is what you put out into things. And when you put out that you need money, that's the message that gets received by everybody else that interacts with this thing you started. If you need money, that's what they see. They don't see the message, they see you need money first. Right? Like, for me, for example, like, I've got a day job. I do my day job. Right? I pay my bills, I meet my bills. I'm good. I'm good. It's not that I'm coming and doing this because I gotta pay my rent. Right? If nobody likes this, that's okay. Because I did this because I wanted to put the message out there in case it helps somebody, right? Give somebody some love. That's what this is about for me. What's your thing going to be about for you? What, it's not like you have like one driven thing that it's like, what, why, what's your why? Like, that's important, but it's really only important in the practical application of the thing that you're trying to do, right? If you're, say you want to be like a gold miner and move to the north of Montana and go gold mining and stuff, what's going to be the driving factor for you to do that thing? Like, why does that thing resonate with you? Why? So if you want to go be like a grade school teacher, what about being a grade school teacher is it that resonates and really just gets in there with you, right? Not what makes it work for everybody else. That's okay. That doesn't matter for what you're trying to do, right? Find the thing that you want to do, whatever it is, and just do it. Even if you do it badly for a time and you're like, you know what? I tried it and I just didn't like it. I thought that I would, and I tried it, but it didn't get where I was hoping it would get for me. So I'm trying something else. And there's no harm in that, right? And over time of trying the next thing and the next thing, you change and grow and evolve as a person. You don't start from scratch when you start new things. You don't start from scratch anymore because you've been learning every time that you started something. And in a way, you're kind of, each new thing you start, you're kind of ahead of the game a little bit compared to what you were on the first thing you started. Like, I'll give you a great example to kind of paint that picture. I'll give you a good example. I've started small businesses in the past, right? And when I first started, oh my God, it was so overwhelming. Like, I couldn't keep up. Like, I had to do the insurances, I had to do the business license, I had to do this, I had to pick the name, I had to do the website, I had to do so many things that I had to do. And I was so overwhelmed. You just don't even know. And the first couple things I really tried, and I only made it like part of the way through starting, and I gave up because, oh my God, it was so hard. But the thing is that even those first couple that I started and only got like part way through the start process, I still learned from the few steps that I did get done. And that false start led to another false start that I got a little bit further because I knew the first few steps already. I was familiar. So I got those done a little bit easier because I knew what to do. And I got a few more steps done. And then it was too much and it was another false start and I let it go. And that's okay. And then come about the third or fourth thing that I was trying to start, and I had become familiar enough with the initial startup process, you know, the business license, the tax ID numbers, the websites, all this stuff. I had become familiar enough with the previous false starts that I knew at least the scope of how to get done with each of those steps. And by about the third or fourth thing that I was starting, I actually got it started. Partly because I didn't let those previous false starts get me down. I decided that the previous false starts were still learning opportunities because things I didn't know anything about. I knew nothing about starting anything. So I had to learn. It's not like I went to school and they taught me how to get a business ID number and a tax ID number from the IRS, blah, 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 whatever, right? I didn't know how to do that stuff. So I needed those false starts. That was my schooling, basically, right? I didn't go into debt for college or whatever for that. I went in debt, I think the first couple false starts, I think I went in debt $90, I think. Like who cares, right? Like, it was so little, I can't even remember how much the dollar figure was now. It mattered so little to me even then. So it's kind of, just be okay with false starts. False starts are wonderful. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not, because they let you learn things that you previously had no idea even existed, were even a part of the process. You didn't even know it was a part of it, let alone know what to do or how to do it, right? So be okay with false starts. Be okay with things not working out, and be okay with someone else not seeing the way that you see it. Because if they saw it the way that you see it, they would have already done what you're doing, and then, then what? Then you'd have to do something else. Right? So, it's okay. It's okay that somebody else doesn't see it. That means that it's up to you to do it, and then when you set the example, then they'll see it, and they'll cheer you on, right? So, yeah. I think that's going to do it for today's video. I don't want to make it too awful long. It's already pretty long. What is this? 26 minutes so far. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to make it too long, but start whatever it is, right? Don't be paralyzed by fear. Don't let your excuses be the thing that validates your inaction. Don't do what I did and sell your ambitions, your goals, and your dreams in exchange for excuses. Excuses become a currency that is worthless to anyone else but you. Don't do what I did. Just start, right? I started a YouTube channel. I'm here to help think outside the box and take like mindset, motivational stuff like out of the clouds a little bit and kind of bring it down to practical application. That's kind of what this channel's for, as best as I can do that. So, first video's in the books. Thanks for sticking with me. You're loved, you're appreciated, and you have tremendous value. Much more value than I'm sure you give yourself credit for, or others have probably given you credit for. And if you need someone to believe in your value until your value can kick in, you got me. I believe in you. Okay? Start your thing. Start it badly. Start it slowly. Start it in ugly ways. Start it halfway, right? Don't get all the pieces set up. Just start it and experience it so that if it fails and you have to restart, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with a knowledge and an education now on what needs to happen, what is expected to happen. And you're getting a head start on the next round, right? You're getting a jump on the game. So there's value even in failing. Please don't devalue failing, don't devalue success. Just get started with whatever it is and stick with it. Just start it and stick with it. That's all you gotta do. Very basic requirements. Okay? We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for sticking around. Check out the links below if you want to follow me on social media, donate a dollar or something to show some support, whatever it is. The links are all below. Have fun. Good luck. And I want to hear about the thing that you started. So put it down in the comments. Put the thing down there. Let me encourage you. Let other people encourage what you're trying to do. Put it down there. If you got a link to a website, put it down there. Let me go to the link on your website. Let me go to your social media and hit the like and follow, whatever on your thing, right? Whatever it is you're starting, put it in the comments. Let me help you be excited about it. I want to get excited too, right? So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck.